2025 has been a very big year for Magic. We've had more sets than ever before, more universes beyond than ever before, and there's a lot of variety across the board. It's been a very mixed experience, because in my opinion, this year has included some of Magic's best releases, and not just my opinion, but I think pretty universally, some of Magic's worst. So I figured we'll make a tier list. And right at the start of the year, we had one that people might have forgotten about, honestly, and it was Innistrad Remastered. I thoroughly enjoyed the draft experience for this. I know that some people were a bit iffy about non-Innistrad cards being given an Innistrad skin and put into the set, but with all that I played, none of them felt like it took me out of the Innistrad context. Now, I do definitely have some issues with the using the retro frame for cards that were never originally printed in the retro frame. But that's a pretty minor gripe, and like I said, this set was a great draft experience. So I'm throwing that in A tier. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Then next up is a really controversial one, and that is Aetherdrift. Aetherdrift? I don't know. Whichever way you want to say it. I don't really care. But this is one that I might differ on the general consensus for, but I really liked Aetherdrift. I don't think it was an amazing set, but it was a lot of fun to draft. I do think mechanically a lot of the stuff is really cool. I like vehicles coming back in a way that felt refreshing instead of treading the same territory. Mounts are pretty cool, and the overall aesthetic I do like for the most part. The only thing I didn't particularly care for was the first person full art lands. A little too Mad Maxy, but overall I think the set's quite good. Mechanically, it's pretty great. Flavor wise, yeah, it's a bit iffy. I'm not gonna argue with anyone on that. And so I'm gonna throw that into B tier, because I think it was decent. And now one that people were really excited for, that I have zero nostalgia for, and that's Tarkir Dragonstorm. I wasn't playing Magic when the previous Tarkir block happened, so to me, this was a pretty fresh experience going into it, and I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was amazing. There is plenty of cool stuff in this set, but you can say that for just about any set, even the sets that you really hate. There's at least a couple cool cards that you're like, that's gonna go in a deck. Dragonstorm I found was pretty fun and limited. I didn't love it in constructed, which is not to say that it's bad, just that it scratched a different itch. That being said, I do love omens as a mechanic, even though I kind of wish they had explored them a little bit more, because we didn't get that much. So I'm gonna put Tarkir also in B tier. I'm gonna say it's about the same as Aetherdrift for me. Tarkir had a better draft experience, but a worse constructed experience. And I think Aetherdrift was like kind of balanced on both of those. But then we got Magic's biggest set, not of just the year, but of all time. Final Fantasy pre-orders broke the Lord of the Rings records before the set even fucking came out. That's a little terrifying, I won't lie. I don't like the precedent that sets, but it's a good set. I do have issues with it, like I hate the source material treatments that are just a piece of existing art with drop shadow text slapped on it. I think they're really ugly. I really hope that they stop doing them, but we'll see shortly that they're not going to, and they're going to get worse. While I was editing, I was like, you know what? I've wanted to do this for ages. Let me just like make an example of how I think these cards should look. Because to me, this just looks better. It's easier to read as a game piece, and it doesn't look like someone just threw it in Canva and was like, a drop shadow will do. That's my grievance. I don't dislike the art on these. In fact, I actually love the art on a lot of these, and that's why it frustrates me so much. Final Fantasy, I have mixed feelings about, because I'm not a Final Fantasy guy, but it does feel like it fits into Magic really well. It's one of the things that we were promised with the Universes Beyond, of it, you know, being Magic adjacent IPs. And yeah, Final Fantasy has that mix of traditional fantasy stuff, some sort of sci-fi stuff, some sort of refreshed contemporary stuff, kind of like New Capenna, and the mishmash does fit in. That being said, because it is just kind of a collation set, you know, it's a collection of everything Final Fantasy, it is a little all over the place. And I found that particularly the draft experience, it was a bit iffy, but for Constructed, I love Final Fantasy. There are so many cool things in here, particularly the Enchantment Creature Sagas. Those are amazing, so much fun, and just naturally made sense for summons. Again, coming from someone that's played a couple of hours of Final Fantasy 15 and a couple of hours of Final Fantasy 13, it just made sense straight away. I got it. And that sort of design I love to see. I don't love the designers saying that this sort of design never would have happened if Final Fantasy hadn't come across the Magic team's plate. But I also understand that's probably mostly marketing talk being like, this is why you should be excited about it. So I'll forgive them for that. And so I'm gonna put Final Fantasy in A tier, because damn, it's a good set. It is also the last Universes Beyond set that has the Universes Beyond border, which I'm going to complain about very shortly. Now, this choice might be one that people are gonna not be happy about, but Edge of Eternities is my favorite set of the year by a very significant margin. So that alone, you know, I'm putting it into S tier. But I want to talk about why, because it seems like a lot of people didn't like it, and I get that diving into the sci-fi realm is maybe not exactly what people want out of Magic. That I can understand. The reason that I think Edge of Eternities really naturally falls into Magic is because it is in the soft sci-fi bucket and not the hard sci-fi bucket. Now, for those of you not familiar, hard sci-fi is the science fiction like Sunshine, where they're focused on the science of it, the physics as to why Caveron Memorial World is shattered and yet not just completely scattered across the galaxy. Stuff like that. This is really focused on the magic side of things, the fantasy element, and not the science part. And that's why it seems pretty natural in the context of Magic. Another thing I really love about it is that it is quintessentially Magic in terms of both the designs, which all just feel familiar enough that it doesn't feel like you've jumped into a different TCG, but also unique enough that it doesn't feel like you're in Dominaria again. And for that reason, I actually got some friends around to draft Edge of Eternities to teach them how to draft, because I thought it was a good balance of, yeah, cool new mechanics that are reasonably simple for new players to pick up, but also still iconically, quintessentially Magic without it feeling too foreign, too different, too many color pie breaks. But I can understand on the surface how the sci-fi flavor is maybe not the most appealing to most Magic players, but when you dig a little bit into the story elements, it very quickly becomes apparent that it is a layer of science on top of the fantasy part, where you've got two different space cults fighting over whether to kill or revive a star. It's a little ridiculous and absurd, and it's fun. My biggest gripe with Edge of Eternities is that it came out while I was really burnt out on Magic, so I didn't actually get to draft it as much as I would have liked to. I'd still draft it on Arena whenever it comes up, but I will say that the online draft experience is definitely not the same as going to your LGS and sitting down and drafting with actual people. I do enjoy that far more. I don't know whether to call this the most or least controversial set of the year, because it seems to be pretty universally hated, and I'm just gonna put it straight into F tier, because you know it's Spider-Man. And this is coming from a big Spider-Man fan. I've done a video unboxing it already, and if you've watched that, you know that I have very mixed feelings about it. It's pretty obvious that the set is very padded, particularly in the commons and uncommons, and we do know that it was previously intended to be a small set, and that does explain a lot. So that does make me, I was gonna say optimistic, but no, but less skeptical of the Marvel superhero set coming out next year. As much as there are lots of really cool designs in these cards that do feel like flavor wins, and even the ones that don't feel like flavor wins are fun or interesting, I don't want to put them in any of my decks because they're fucking Spider-Man cards. And that alone is enough for me to fail. I'm simply not interested in having New York City in my Magic decks. New Capenna's layer of fantasy over Art Deco New York works. It is more fantasy than it is New York. And Spider-Man's none of that. I don't think that anyone that really likes Magic likes this set. I'm sure there are plenty of collectors that do, but people that are here for core Magic, this is not Magic adjacent IP, as we were promised with Universes Beyond, and it's the first Universes Beyond set to abandon the border. It is now the same border as everything else in Magic, and I dislike that. Mostly because it's Spider-Man. I think I wish I had the distinction for Spider-Man. Put it in the Universes Beyond bucket over there. Get it away from me. Versus if Final Fantasy had done it, I wouldn't have minded. And then our last set of the year, which I haven't had a ton of experience with yet. I've drafted it a little bit on Arena, and so opinion with a grain of salt, but The Last Airbender. Another one that I have very mixed feelings about. I'm probably even more divided than everything else that I've mentioned I've been divided on because Magic has left me feeling very split this year. The Last Airbender is, so far, with what I've played, pretty damn well designed. It has been immensely fun to draft, and I'm very keen to go draft in person when I actually have some time. But seeing the avatar characters on cards does kind of take me out of it. I don't love the styling, but the mechanics are good. It's really fun. But I did mention earlier that I was gonna bitch about the source material treatments more, and they're going to get worse. And we're gonna put the card on screen that we all know I'm talking about, because I don't know how this got through quality control. But that gripe aside, I do think that The Last Airbender is a reasonably good set. So it's gonna go at the bottom of B tier. Mechanically, I think we have had one of the best years for Magic. We've had a lot of really interesting game design. Aesthetically and narratively, we're not doing too hot. I think Edge of Eternities is a perfect example of Magic doing Magic well. Aetherdrift, I'll accept, is a bit of a flavor fail. I'm with people on that one. Tarkir was fine, and I don't know how much of that comes from, the design team is sidelining story because they're too focused on Universes Beyond stuff, or just the fact that, damn, we kinda goddamn tired of this. But next year isn't looking better. Magic is just leaving me real tired. I'm glad that I bought a box of Edge of Eternities to enjoy with my friends, because that was really good. That refreshed Magic a bit for me. I hope for more of that in the future. Whether I'm asking for too much, that I cannot answer. I do not have an orb to ponder to figure it out. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you want to check out my thoughts on the Spider-Man set, I got a video over there. Otherwise, there's one over here-ish that YouTube thinks that you'll like even more than that. But, peace out, and I'll see you whenever I make a Magic video again. God.